Hey guys, welcome and welcome back to my channel. So in this video I'm going to be showing you guys how to make a circle skirt pattern. Three circle skirt patterns actually: the full circle, half circle and quarter circle skirt. Now let's get our intro in and just get into it. So for this tutorial we'll be needing our scissors, marker, curved ruler, measuring tape, quilting ruler and our pattern paper. Now the first thing we're going to do is work on these calculations. Now guys, I'm not going to go into the whole radius, mathematics, all those things, but I'm going to give you guys the calculations you need to use. So in my case, I'm using a waist size 26 and I'm going to add 2 inches for the zipper allowance at the back, and that gives me 28. So having that written down, a full circle skirt, you're going to divide your waist measurement. So whatever you want to use, the circumference you've gotten, you're going to divide it by 6.28. Then if it's a half circle skirt, you're going to divide it by 3.14. And if it's a quarter circle skirt, you're going to divide it by 1.57. You guys should just write it down and put it somewhere. So in my case, if I divide 28 by 6.28, it gives me 4.5. If I divide it by 3.14, it gives me 9. And if I divide it by 1.57, it gives me 18. So now that I've gotten all my calculations, I'm going to start measuring. So for the full circle skirt, I'm going to measure 4.5 inches and go around to the other end of this corner. The way I put my pattern paper, that's how you guys are going to do it. So measure 4.5 inches all around and then measure out half an inch above that mark. So I usually like measuring it together. So I'm measuring 4.5 and I'm measuring 4 inches at the same time. So I'm going around, and once I'm done, that half an inch will be for my seam allowance. Now as you can see, if I measure everything out, I'm going to have 28 divided by 4, which gives me 7. So it's 7 inches I have here and it's perfect. Now for a full circle skirt, you're going to be folding your fabric into 4 when you're cutting. I'm going to show you guys how to do that at the end of the video, so keep watching. But here I'm just going to show you guys how to measure the length of your skirt. So now if you want your skirt to be, let's say 10 inches long, I usually like adding that 10 inches to the 4.5 inches, which gives me 14.5 inches, right? So I'm going to just start measuring 14.5 inches from the top to where I want my skirt to be. The way I'm doing it in this video, that's how you guys should do it. So I'm measuring 14.5 all around, and I'm going to measure 0.5 inches after that 14.5 all around for the seam allowance. Now for a circle skirt, the smaller or the tinier the seam allowance, the better. Like it will be more like really neat. So if you make it too big, you have to be able to manage that seam allowance that you've put out. But if you make it as small as 0.5 inches, some people even use less than 0.5 inches. So the less the seam allowance, the easier it's going to be for you when you're sewing it. So in my case, when I'm measuring out my seam allowance, I usually measure, so remember it's 14.5, I'm going to just measure out 15 inches. So I'm going to go all around by 15 inches. And on the pattern, I'm going to just point out the 14.5 inches as well. But I'm not going to draw that line in this one because I'm using this same paper for my half circle and quarter circle. But right now, it's still the same process. So 14.5 all around, adding your seam allowance of 0.5. That's how you should do it. Now that's depending on how long you want your skirt to be. If I want my skirt to be 10 inches, that's why I used that example. But if you want your skirt to be a long skirt, or you use the measurements that you desire. Next, we're moving on to the half circle skirt. So for the half circle skirt, we're dividing our waist measurements plus the seam allowance, that's 28 inches, by 3.14. So that gives us 9 inches. So now here I'm going to measure out 9 inches and I'm going to be putting the 8.5. Remember I said half an inch above. So your seam allowance for the waist is 0.5 inches before the measurements that you actually need, and the one for the hem is 0.5 inches more than your desired length. Do you guys get? So 0.5 inches less for the waist and 0.5 inches more for the length. So I'm just going to go all around by 9 inches and 8.5 inches and just draw that mark right there, write out any information I need, and get to work on the next one. So like I said earlier, add your desired length to that 9 inches or to the measurements that you calculated divided by 3.14 and just measure it all around for the length. And now if I measure all around my curve, I'm going to have 28 inches, which is my total, divided by 2, which gives me 14, and that's what I have right here, 14 inches. So now guys, we're going to work on the quarter circle skirt. So here you're going to divide your waist measurement plus the seam allowance you need by 1.57. So I'm going to just measure out 18 inches all around with my seam allowance, then make my curve, and that's all guys. Now I'm going to show you guys how to work on the hem. So here I'm using 5 inches for my hem, since that's what I have left of my pattern paper. I'm using 5 inches, then I'm going to add 0.5 inches for my seam allowance.
So you can just hide while I work. I ain't tired, you first. I'll write a second, third verse about the lies you go disperse. You never did shit, I know.
So now that I've done it, this is what it looks like, and if I go all around, I'm going to have my exact waist measurements. That's the 28 inches that I want to use. That's what I'm going to have, because we're going to be cutting it on one single fabric. Like, you're not cutting it, folding your fabric or doing anything. It's one single fabric. You're going to put it on and cut it right there.
So you can just hide while I work.
So guys, this is what our pattern looks like. It's already looking amazing. Then I thought of something. If you want to have like pockets by the side, you know, in my case I can't use this particular 28 inches for it. I have to make room for those side pieces. So with this, you need to cut 2 pieces. So guys, I'm going to explain right now. So now my waist is 26, right? And I want a front piece and a back piece. So the back is going to be divided into 2 once I'm done, but this is what I'm going to do. So I'm going to divide my 26 by 2, which gives me 13. So I want my seam allowance on both sides to be 1 inch and 1 inch, so that I'm leaving 1 inch for one side and 1 inch for the other side. I like leaving 1 inch seam allowance so it's easier. Then for the back, I have my 2 inches zipper allowance. So the part where I'm going to put the pockets, 1 inch on one side and 1 inch on the other side. So that's 13 plus 4 inches gives me 17 inches for the back. Now for the front, we have 2 inches, because 1 inch is going for left, 1 inch is going for the right, and that's it. So 13 plus 2 for the front gives me 15 inches. Now is this 17 and 15 inches I'm going to divide by 6.28, 3.14 or 1.57, depending on the type of circle skirt I want to make. Then once I have my back pattern cut out, I'm going to divide it into 2. So your skirt has to have 2 pieces to be able to join your zipper allowance. I don't know if I'm explaining this really well. Please, if you don't understand what I'm saying, just comment in the comment section. I'll be ready to explain extensively for you. So right now I'm just going to write out guys, write it out. Write out every information you need to write out. I always like writing everything, even if I've done this several times, I'm going to still write it. So far as my pattern, I'm the one using it. I'm going to write out every single measurement I need. In case I forget something and I want to make for another size and something like that, I'm just going to go back to it, look at it. Oh, this is what I did. Okay, back to work. So guys, here I have a fabric that I'm going to be using to show you guys how you need to cut out your fabric. I'm going to fold it into 2, then fold it into 4, just like I'm doing it right here. Guys, look at it. Look at how it is on my pattern. Fold it in a way that all the loose corners are going to be at the end, towards the end. So you're working with all the folded edges. So just like this. Now I'm going to just cut out this cone because I need just the curve, and then place the pattern on that folded corner. And once you place your fabric, you're going to just cut it out from there. I'm not going to cut it right now because I'm not using this fabric to make the circle skirt. I'm just showing you guys so you guys can know what you need to do. So cut the top and cut the hem depending on the skirt length. Like I said, what you guys want to use, depending on what you cut on your pattern, cut it out, and that's what you need. Next up, we're going to be working on the half circle skirt. Now with this, you're going to fold your fabric into just 2. So just like I've done right here, on the folded corner again, that's where you should place your pattern. So you're placing your pattern on that side and you're cutting it out from there. So cut that side out and cut your hem out, and that's what you need. That's all you need, guys. You're folding it into 2 and cutting out your pattern. Now it's time to work on the quarter circle skirt. So with this, you're not folding your fabric at all. So you're just placing your fabric on it like that and cutting it out. So that's basically it. Once you cut it out, cut out the length, it's going to have that A-line shape. Quarter circle skirts are also usually called A-line skirts. So if you want to make your A-line skirt, this is the best pattern to use. So guys, I hope you learned a lot from this amazing tutorial. And yes, that's all I have for you guys today. I hope you loved it. I enjoyed filming this actually, and I hope you guys learned so much from it. Please don't forget to subscribe, guys. A lot of you guys are watching my videos but you're not subscribed. Please, it's going to help my algorithm, my analytics. Please subscribe to the channel, like this video, share within and outside your circle, and as always, do have yourself a wonderful morning, noon or night wherever you are. It's still your favorite content creator and fashion entrepreneur, Lara Savage, signing out.